Greetings, everyone. Craig Hester here with R2AWatches.com, and thank you for joining us again as we continue on our journey through all the watches and accessories that are available at R2AWatches.com. If you are watching this on YouTube, be sure and hit like and subscribe or ring that bell so you'll get the early notifications when we have a new video. If you're watching this on Facebook, you want to join the closed group Vostok-Europe Timepieces, or VET. Don't let the name fool you. While we just do spend a lot of time talking about the great brand that is Vostok-Europe in there, any of the watches that are available at R2AWatches.com are open for discussion in what is a very good group of guys and gals who just want to enjoy the watch hobby, and so there's rarely any conflict. Anyway, today we are talking about the newest watch from Vostok-Europe, and that is the Engine. Now, quickly, in case you're not familiar with Vostok-Europe, Vostok-Europe is a boutique watch brand, and excuse me, is a boutique watch brand in Vilnius, Lithuania. They've been around now for about 17 years, and we've been with them pretty much since the beginning. There's so many great things about Vostok-Europe. I could just go on and on just on a Vostok-Europe video, but I'm not going to do that. I will say that they hand assemble every watch there. They have their own in-house designers that design their watches. They do most of the things that much bigger brands do. I've been to their facility many times, and it is just amazing what they accomplish there with being a small company like they are. I like to say that they start with a blank piece of paper, or more accurately, a blank computer screen, and they finish with a completed watch. Okay, that's enough about Vostok-Europe. You can tell I could talk about them all day long. I'm very proud to be part of the distribution company that handles them in the U.S. And the watch we're talking about today is no exception in terms of quality and great design, and just such a cool watch from Vostok-Europe. This is called the Engine, and it is the first skeleton watch that Vostok-Europe has ever produced. There's a black on black, then there is the rose tone in black, and then stainless, no PVD. Don't get thrown off by this blue that you see on the sides. It's there to protect the watch from getting scratched before it's sold. And I found over the years, if I take that stuff off to do a video, then sure enough, I'm gonna scratch the watch, and I don't want to do that if I can help it. So where you see that, that's simply protection of the watch. I was just looking. Sometimes I get struck by the watches myself when I'm looking at them. In fact, there's a guy on Watch You Seek who his little signature thing at the bottom is, he says, I can look at my watch 3 times and still not know what time it is. And I just always love that, because it just is so indicative of what the watch hobby is all about. You just fall in love with these little amazing pieces of machinery, and even with, like you've heard me say, even with the quartz, when you get into those multi-function quartz and everything they do, it's just amazing. So the Engine is named after that. I think you can probably figure out why it's called the Engine, because the skeleton dial has a real look of engine parts, so that's why they named it the Engine. This is based on the SSN 571 case. This is a 45 millimeter case. Oh, did we put the battery in there? Okay. Good. I can, my handy dandy caliper, the battery had gone dead, and Abe was nice enough to run and get a battery. And let's see. Yep, 44.8, 49. So it's a 45 millimeter timepiece. How thick is it? I will tell you. 16.2 millimeters thick. So this isn't a huge watch. If you have an SSN 571 and you're comfortable with its wear, you'll be comfortable with this. Now, the funny thing is, 45 millimeter watch used to be really big. I remember even in just the time I've been in the industry, a couple of decades now, I remember when, a 45 would have been just huge. Everybody being like, what are you wearing such a big watch for? Now I find them to be really comfortable. My sweet spot size is 46. I love 46, but 45 is a great size as well. So the fact that it's thick as well, if you're one of those guys who likes big watches and you want a big watch, you're not going to be disappointed in this, but just know that it's not the behemoths that some of the 49 millimeters are, 48 millimeters. But it's going to wear big because of how thick it is. That is really where you're getting it, is in terms of the look on your wrist, is how thick it is. And speaking of look on your wrist, I'm going to go ahead and do a wrist shot. Now, this watch has the Tritium Tube technology, which I'll explain a little more going forward if I can get this watch on. Come on, there we go. It comes on the silicone like this, and then it comes with, well, first let me show you the wrist shot. Now you can see I have a 7.5 inch wrist. So I don't have a big wrist, but I don't have a small wrist. I can wear this watch very comfortably, very, very comfortably. In fact, I might just decide that this one's so comfortable that I keep it. I will have an engine in my own personal collection at some point. If that doesn't tell you something right there, I don't know what will. Then it comes what in the packaging and with the accoutrement that you have come to expect from Vostok-Europe. It's going to come in the dive case packaging, which is it's made in the same facility as Pelican, and it's just a fabulous, fabulous case. That's what the watch is going to come in that. Hear that tightness? That's water. That right there is watertight to, I think, 10 ATM. And then they each have Italian vegetable dyed straps, and they are amazing. They look kind of like carbon fiber. The way they did this, at least that's my interpretation. When they put those on there, it's a carbon fiber kind of look, especially in this one with the red. It just pops. So they come with a beautiful leather strap, a changing tool, and all of the other stuff that normally comes along with a Vostok-Europe. Tritium tubes. This watch is the second watch from Vostok-Europe, and we think probably only the second watch in the world, because we haven't found another one that stands the tritium tubes up. So let me tell you what tritium tubes are. Tritium tubes are laser sealed glass tubes that are filled with a substance called tritium, and that tritium has a half-life of 12.5 years, and in there with the tritium they put the luminous material, whatever color they want to be of the luminous material, and that tritium constantly agitates the luminous material so that it's bright, so that it is glowing all the time. It's not like a watch where, well, for instance, where's my other watch? This watch here, this Scott-free watch, it actually has a full lume dial, but there's no tritium tubes. So everything is standard superluminova, which is the vanguard of the industry is superluminova out of Switzerland. Watches that don't have tritium tubes, they tend to have, except for some dress watches, dress watches won't put any lume on it at all. That I've never understood. But what you're getting in here is the tritium tubes, as opposed to, I know what I was going to say. So the superluminova, it has to be charged up. You know what I mean. If you own one, you know exactly what I mean. You got to put it under a light. You got to take it out and let it get some sunlight, any light you're using, preferably UV light, and it'll charge up that superluminova basically the same way that the tritium does. It's just that the tritium does it all the time, trapped in a laser sealed glass tube. But it doesn't. The thing about the superluminova, you know how it is. You put it on your dresser, and 2 hours later, you can't even see it. It's faded so much. That doesn't happen with tritium tubes. No matter what conditions you're in, it's always going to glow. And it's great for places like movie theaters where you want to be able to know the time, but you don't want to bother anybody because it's not so bright that it's going to bother somebody else, like maybe one of those push button watches where you push and turn the light on, for instance. It's great for airplanes. It's just dim enough in there that you just can't see your watch without something assisting you. And in this case, it would be tritium. So as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 styles. I'm expecting there to be more in the future. As popular as this is already sold out worldwide. Now, I mean, we have some stock, but in terms of the distributors around the world have already taken up all of the watches. So we've got the black engine. We've got the rose tone engine. And we have the black dial and stainless. Now, just to quickly go through some of the other standard features you expect from this is a professional grade dive watch because it's 30 ATM or 300 meters. You only have to be 20 ATM or 200 meters to become a dive watch. So this surpasses that with ease. Unidirectional rotating bezel. That's another thing that's necessary for it to be referred to as a true dive watch. The reason that you want it to be unidirectional is when you go down under the water, the worst thing that's going to happen is you'd lose some time. It's never going to gain time, and because you don't want that to happen when you're talking about being underwater with a breathing apparatus. There are also tritium tubes on the hour hand and the minute hand. 2 on the hour hand and 1 on the minute hand. So look at that case back. You can see all the way through to the front, and if you look closely, you can see, oh, there. See now, look, you see the balance wheel moving? You can see all the way through to the back. I just think that's just really, really cool. A nice decorated rotor. Oh, yeah, the movement in this. I knew there was something I was forgetting. This is the NH72 movement in here from SII. And it also, the top of the movement is plated in ruthenium, which is a pretty rare substance in and of itself. So that makes you see how deep and rich it is on there? That's the ruthenium plating on there. Otherwise, it would just look like stainless steel. So there you have it. There is the overview of the new engine from Vostok-Europe. Be sure and check it out at r2awatches.com. And until next time, hey, keep watching.